Ever feel like you're on the top of the world after a big sale and only to crash into a panic mode a few days later? Well, that was happening to me also, and it is part of the process. However, in this video, I'm gonna go over how to prevent this stuff from happening and go into your sales calls with the best mentality you can have. So we're going to be talking about sales psychology, emotional management, and most important in this video, regression to the mean, which I know it sounds weird, but just trust me, stick until the end of the video, and I promise your sales calls are gonna be easier than ever. By the end of the video, you're gonna understand why sales slumps happen, which means why you sometimes close 2 clients in 2 days and sometimes 0 clients in 2 months. And then you're just looking for a job in McDonald's. Nothing's wrong with that, obviously, but you're here because you don't want it, obviously, right? So I'm sure that you've been on a few sales calls yourself and maybe even didn't close a client yet. You probably have some doubt in yourself. But obviously when you do close, you're gonna feel like you're on top of the world. It's gonna be the best feeling ever. It's basically gonna feel like you can sell anything to anyone. And that's what I call fluctuation of doubt, which is basically extreme highs and lows that salespeople go through, right? The easiest example would be one day you're celebrating a big win, a few days later, you're doubting your own skills because of a losing streak. Now let me introduce you to the term regression to the mean and what it means to you in sales. So let's say that you have 10 sales calls and your average closing rate is 20%. That doesn't mean that your closing rate will always be lost, 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 one, lost, 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 one. That might also sometimes look like lost, 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 one, one. The point of what I'm saying is that you need to understand that short-term streaks, be it good or bad, don't define your overall success. And the salespeople that don't understand it and go on their sales calls and start a losing streak, they'll be thinking that they are the problem, their script, their business, or something fourth. But that is just not the case. I'll explain how to prevent this today. Most salespeople don't have the emotional discipline or understanding of statistics to handle a 6-call losing streak. So they give up, get demotivated, and start slumping even more. Or they just start changing up their whole script and their whole business. And those sales slumps that I'm talking about, where you go up and down in losing streaks, they're inevitable. But the word slump doesn't have to be negative. And the reason why is simple because the average will show itself with enough data and calls. So the key to overcoming a slump is just to hang in there, be patient, and give it your all. Let me put this into perspective for you, okay? Let's say you have a blue arrow and you have a black arrow. The blue arrow goes straight up, but the black one is going up with the slumps. Well, the blue arrow there is the actual mean and your average. The black line is the trend and represent the oscillating nature of numbers to achieve the mean. This is what we call regression to the mean. At the end of the day, your average is the most important thing. Single days, weeks, months, they don't define you, be it good or bad. Your average does. And we can only accurately depict this with enough data and enough time for the average to show itself. With sales calls, you're gonna be up close and personal with regression to the mean, as you'll have winning streaks of closed calls and losing streaks with the calls that didn't close, right? Your average conversion rate is the average of those highs and lows you've had across a long period of time. That is basically the blue line that I just explained earlier, right? So let's look at the slumps of this graph that you just seen. They're inevitable and they're required for the numbers to achieve an average. Instead of seeing back-to-back no's as a bad thing, just see them as the trend. And know if you hang in there and just continue doing sales calls, the trend will start oscillating towards the top. Likewise, peaks on the graph also inevitable and will take you on emotional rides of joy, enjoyment, optimism, and confidence. But they will also eventually dip. You must also practice to not get carried away by these two, right? Emotional management is about staying steady and calm in the face of good or bad. So here's what you need to remember. The average doesn't show itself in small data sets, only in large ones. And because of this, temporary winning or losing streaks are not the definition of your average. And now let's go over how to prevent your mindset going absolutely off when you're on a losing streak. So with my team, I have this specific term or rule called 30 call rule. meaning with sales call you cannot objectively judge or change your script, tonality, offer or guarantee or business until you have done at least 30 sales calls using the exact same pitches, offers and the process, right? This is because it's entirely possible that your script and offer may result in a 33% conversion rate, but you can still get 20 back-to-back no's and then get 10 back-to-back yeses. This absolutely plagues the existence of most agency owners. They do 3 to 4 calls and get 3 to 4 no's, then second guess their entire business, script, offer and themselves, when in reality 3 or 4 no's means nothing at all. So let's give you an example, right? Let's say you have months where you close 25% of your sales calls, which is bad for you. For example, you're still not defined by those lows or highs. Your highs could be above 50% and you're not defined by your lows, which are below 25%, but you're defined by the average of those two, which is 30 to 40%. That is the whole point. And it doesn't matter how well trained you are or how kick-ass your script is. If you don't control your state of mind, it will all be for nothing. Sales slumps are inevitable and they are simply the regression to the mean average of your conversions over time. This is how numbers behave. You cannot afford to let this inevitable oscillation control your emotional state. And that would be all for today's video. I certainly hope you learned something, as this here, if you're new to the agency space, sounds like something that is not so important. But listen, from my experience, when we found out about all of this, and it took us longer than for you to watch this video, right? I can tell you, when you implement these things, it only goes up from here. So use this to your advantage and that's it. And by the way, down in the description you have my new Discord server with a direct access to my team and myself personally for any questions you might have. And also you have access to other like-minded agency owners, so you can network, build some friends, ask us questions and help each other out. So be sure to join up if you're serious about this SMMA stuff, right? So if you like the video, there's a button for that, so be sure to press it if you did, please. Comment any video ideas or requests you have and subscribe if you want more content that keeps you engaged to the end like this one. Have a blessed day ahead and thank you so much for watching and sticking around to the end. See you.